Instead of saying, well, oh shit, man, it's because of these leads, or it's because of this market, that's why February was bad, or it's because my manager don't like me, or it's because I'm getting these certain leads or whatever. But that's bullshit, man. You got access to the information and the data and the tools and the fucking resources to make the shit happen. Not only do you have answers and the resources and the fucking scripting for free, but it's showing you how to get it. So what I guess what we're saying is the answers and the tools are right in front of you. You got a fucking shovel in front of you, but instead you'd rather dig with your hands. And when you choose to dig with your hands and ignore the fact that you got a shovel before you, you have a better chance of going fatigue. You're gonna fucking get burnt out. You're just gonna, you know what I mean? You're not gonna want to do it anymore. It's boring. My hands hurt. And so, but all along, the fucking shovel's right there. Now, if you realize that you use the tools in front of you, in this case it's the shovel, then you'll realize that you can actually not only dig deeper, but you can ensure that you're digging a proper foundation to build from. And so this is where it becomes important to understand the tools that you have around you. Otherwise, you're going to be the one who reacts to the waves, not the one who makes the waves. And no banger. What's up, everybody? Had to share something with you. Just encountered this right now on my way out of the office, and I came across two new hire agents who I believe just started this past week. So Monday was their first day. They're going through orientation. They're going through training, right? And this is something probably that you see on your own sales floor, so you can relate, and you're probably already envisioning what those new people or who those new people look like, because you probably saw some this week. And the reason why I was inspired to make a video right after I just met them is because the energy, the enthusiasm, the optimism that they had when I met them. And so, you know, especially around Friday, right? Like our sales floor, if you really think about it, Friday is typically the time where we're kind of recovering from the week, from all that hustle and bustle, right? So Friday typically, at least from a salesman standpoint, is a little bit more lax for whatever reason. That's just the way it is. Bugs the shit out of management, but at the end of the day, it's Friday. You know, I get it. Sometimes you plan on coming in on the weekend, and at the end of the day, Friday, it's always hard to get a hold of people because they're also planning into the weekend. So nonetheless, leaving the atmosphere that I just came from, you know, we got a huge floor, huge sales floor, and Friday's kind of a little bit dull. You know, you're depending on what kind of month you had, really. It was really, that's how your attitude's based, right? And so there, of course, not everyone may have hit their goal or their expected income for the month of February, and you'll get a specific, you know, energy or vibe from that group versus those who did good, right, or did great in the month of February. And it's funny because sales puts us in this emotional, energetic kind of roller coaster it just messes with your energy, messes with your mindset all the time. This is why I believe, you know, sales is really not meant for everybody. But it was interesting to me to see their mentality kind of just being so new, so fresh. And you might have heard the excuse being given as, oh, it's because they're so brand new. It's because they haven't really gone through years of earning their stripes, you know. Wait till you realize how it is going into this grind. And then I thought about times where I've met individuals like from, you know, another level, from like CEO status or business owner status, and even fellow mortgage loan officers or salespeople who have been doing it for a strong minute. Like they've been in the game for a while, but you could tell through their passion that they just consistently adapt, and they keep it fresh, they keep it new. And these are the ones who do, you know, the enthusiastic stuff. Like their energy is contagious, right? And you just kind of want to see what else they're going to put out, because, or what they're going to bring to the table. And this is something that's natural. And when we understand that, a lot of the times we forget what it was like to be new. And so now this is almost like an invite to try to find a way to be new. And so why this channel, Sales Remastered, is about as important as possible right now. The timing of it is beautiful, because you need to learn a new way to sell what you've been selling for the last 3 to 5 years. And that's the market. The market's not in your favor. You need to learn how to sell and persuade, because now a lot of the weaker salespeople are being weeded out of our industry. And so unless you plan to change industry, which I hope you don't, Because real estate is an industry where, as a sales representative, you can make a good living, and you don't even need to be really great at your job. But the potential of earning even more if you happen to be great at what you do is awesome. So you can't find that anywhere else. And if you do, then that position typically requires a degree or requires specific background. And so if you're like me, like you know what I mean, like you don't got the fancy credentials, you don't got the Harvard degree, you don't got that backup. You have to stick within a certain lane, within a certain place. And so I want to share an idea with you where now you can actually relate. When you look at these new people, how do they affect you? Do they affect you like deep down inside you're like, shut the fuck up, this month, whatever, newbie. you try to treat them like the grunt and shit, like whatever, shut up, newbie. It's like that, right? Like mentally you're thinking like, man, you have no idea what you're even getting into. It's fun in games now, but give it about a year, give it about 2 years. But I want you to think about their energy and how enthusiastic they were, how enthusiastic you were when you first started, right? All these new ideas you came up with, like all these creative ways of pitching your product, and realize how successful you were at that, or at that stage, right? Like maybe you came in and just right away you started picking up a business, and no one could understand, like, how the fuck is the new guy doing so good? And the reason why is because their energy, they're enthusiastic. Now, granted, they're not as seasoned, or they don't have, the stripes like some veterans might say. Maybe that's probably the reason why they are enthusiastic. But at the end of the day, let's just pay attention to the fact that it's the enthusiasm that wins, right? It's the optimism that really wins. Optimism is now a weapon. It's a secret weapon. And I thought about that because I was like, man, you know who doesn't get deals? You know who doesn't get sales? Are the negative agents. The agents who are right now thinking about how low their February month is, and instead of owning up to it and moving on, they are thinking of who to blame, of who did it, right? Who's out to get them. And it's disturbing, like we can't escape it. I mean, it's even on the greatest of teams, and this shit happens. And I hope right now when this video finds you, you're not in that state. But if you are in that state, you really need to realize that whatever happened to you in February, or however low your month has been for the last 3 months, at the end of the day, you can't turn back time. What the fuck is done, right? Accept it, move on. The only way that this will truly defeat you is if you do not take the proper actions to reverse the momentum. And so right now, if the momentum is going down and you're trying to figure out who to blame because you didn't hit your tier, or because you didn't cover your monthly nut, and you're getting upset and you're trying to find anyone and everyone, like, oh, it's because of her, oh, it's because of him, oh, it's because of the leads, and you find yourself constantly pointing blame, I want you to listen up. Nobody gives a fuck who you got to blame. Nobody cares. Like, you could sit there and whine all day, but people are going to realize for themselves that they also have control, just like you got control, to take your fucking skill set and make the fucking absolute best of it. If you fuck up for 2 or 3 months, then bounce the fuck back. What else are you gonna do, bro? What else are you gonna do? And so, and I don't want to go on a rant. This is some personal shit. I went through a couple one-on-ones and going through the numbers. We're all held accountable. I want us to realize this, and this is something that your sales manager won't go over with you, but your sales manager gets reamed just like you do as salesmen. Everyone is held accountable. Any successful entity has a system, and within that system has these boundaries, and within these boundaries has these bylaws, and within these bylaws have what's called KPIs and measurements, and everything is either expense or profit, right? And so to the bare bones of it, we have to operate within a specific way to make sure that we earn our seat. And so we all held accountable. If this doesn't work, then, well, it's coming down on someone, right? And it goes on and on and on to the very top. And so the reason why I want to point this out is because with everyone being held accountable, only those that hold themselves accountable are going to be accounted for. Let me back it up. So only the one who actually takes the right action for their accountability are going to be the ones that win. meaning that if you choose to not take accountability, you're naturally going to fail because no one's going to take accountability for you. No one's going to want to claim that L. No one's going to be like, oh, you know what, it was me. It was me because you failed. Everyone's out for themselves. So you need to get on that tip. You need to get on that level. And if you don't want to be greedy, right? You don't want to be selfish, then put your team on your back. Carry your team and lead from the back. Get it? So what we can now focus on, instead of saying, well, oh shit, man, it's because of these leads, or it's because of this market, that's why February was bad, or it's because my manager don't like me, or it's because I'm getting these certain leads or whatever. But that's bullshit, man. You got access to the information and the data and the tools and the fucking resources to make the shit happen. Not only do you have answers and the resources and the fucking scripting for free, but it's showing you how to get it. So what I guess what we're saying is the answers and the tools are right in front of you. You got a fucking shovel in front of you, but instead you'd rather dig with your hands. And when you choose to dig with your hands and ignore the fact that you got a shovel before you, you have a better chance of going fatigue. You're gonna fucking get burnt out. You're just gonna, you know what I mean? You're not gonna want to do it anymore. It's boring. My hands hurt. And so, but all along, the fucking shovel's right there. Now, if you realize that you use the tools in front of you, in this case it's the shovel, then you'll realize that you can actually not only dig deeper, but you can ensure that you're digging a proper foundation to build from. And so this is where it becomes important to understand the tools that you have around you. Otherwise, you're going to be the one who reacts to the waves, not the one who makes the waves. And there are only one, you know what I mean? Only one of the two is really going to be the one who actually prevails. And if you want to prevail, here's the deciding fucking factor between the two. It's the mindset. It's the fucking motive. And that motive, whatever it is, whether it's to pay your nut or to fucking feed your kids or to feed your family, whatever the fuck that nut is, now it's all about how bad do you fucking want that nut? How bad do you want that fucking nut? If you want it bad enough, then fucking go get it. Figure out a way to go get that bitch and stop fucking complaining, because those complaints, those, you know, the feeling pitiful, like the tears, that shit's not gonna fucking come through. You can't feed your kid, you can't pay your bills with that bullshit. What you can pay your bills with are answers. What you can do is implement change. What you can do is learn how to adapt. What you can do is find the free fucking information that's right in front of you and the tools and this fucking, just figure it out. And when you do, you'll find that not only did you grow as a person, but you are now at least emotionally aware, and your EQ is stronger because you had the humility to accept that you needed change. You had the courage to accept self-awareness, right? Like, okay, well, fuck, it is me. All right, bro, you're right. It's my mindset. My bad. And then turn that bitch around. But when that moment happens, that's when you become free, because then you can do it again and again. And so if you ever come across this state where you're just like, oh man, it's because of them or it's because of this, instead of taking the responsibility, you could remember this video right here. So please share it with someone who needs to see it. I already know a few. See you on the next video. Bye.